In the previous video, we have talked about the hypodermic needle theory, the powerful effect of media. So in this session, we'll be talking about the two-step flow theory of communication, developed by Paul Lazarsfeld, Katz, and Gaudet in the 1940s. This was a landmark theory in mass communication studies. It marked a major shift from the idea of powerful media effects like the hypodermic needle theory to what we now call the limited effect theory. In simple terms, it showed that media does not influence everyone equally or directly. The two-step flow theory was the result of the Erie County Study during the 1940 U.S. presidential election. It's important to remember the name of this study. Researchers Lazarsfeld, Burleson, and Gaudet interviewed over 3,000 respondents, selecting 600 for monthly interviews from the months of May to November. Their goal was to study how media, such as radio, newspaper, and campaign messages, influence voters' decisions over time. Or how did radio, newspaper, and campaign messages affected how or whom people voted for? Now, let's look at the key findings of this study. The study found out that only 8% actually switched candidates they voted for during the campaign because of the media influence. Thus, the study concluded that media did not have a powerful direct effect. Instead, it mostly reinforced existing opinions, while personal networks played a bigger role than media in actually changing minds, in this case, whom to vote for. Also during this study, researchers noticed something interesting. Some individuals consumed more media, were more knowledgeable and socially active than the others, and the others turned to them for advice before making decisions. These people were called the opinion leaders. They acted like filters, selecting, interpreting, and passing information to others. Think of them as your social media influencers, YouTubers, etc. So communication was not just media to the audience, but rather media through the opinion leaders to the audience. This was what Lazarsfeld and others called the two-step flow theory, which happens in two steps. Step 1, media send messages and opinion leaders receive and interpret them. Step 2, these opinion leaders then pass these messages to their followers, who trust them and often adopt their views. This shows that media effects are indirect, and these opinion leaders play a critical role in communication. So now let's look at why this theory was important. This theory was revolutionary for its time. It rejected the old hypodermic needle theory or the magic bullet theory, which said that media directly injects idea into passive audiences. Instead, it showed that audiences are active participants, and that interpersonal communication, such as the opinion leaders, play a key role in shaping opinions. Most importantly, it was based on empirical scientific research, a systematic study of how media really works. Now, let's look at the strengths of this theory. Firstly, it recognizes two-way communication, that is, media plus discussion. Unlike the hypodermic needle theory, which emphasizes on the all-powerful media influence, this theory takes into consideration the human factor in communication. Secondly, it emphasizes the role of social context and peer influence in communication. And thirdly, its relevance today. For example, it can help us study influencers and opinion leaders on social media. However, there are various limitations and criticisms to this theory. Firstly, it was based on the 1940s an era where there was no television, internet, or social media. Secondly, scholars believe that the two-step flow theory relied heavily on self-reported survey data, which they think may be biased. And finally, later research showed that influence often flows through multiple steps and not just two. Here are the key takeaways from this video. First, media influence is limited and indirect. Second, opinion leaders act as important link between media and audience. Third, communication is social and filtered and not one way. And finally, the two-step flow theory marked the beginning of the limited effect tradition in media research. For your UGC NET mass communication exams, remember these key points: the names of the proponent of the theory, that is, Paul Lazarsfeld, Elihu, Katz, and Hazel Gaudet. The key model in which media message flows from the media to the opinion leaders and lastly to the opinion followers. And finally, the two-step flow theory belongs to the limited effect school of thought. Before we end, let's quickly test your understanding with 3 short questions. Think about the answers, pause, and the answer will be revealed after a few seconds. If you get these questions right, well done. If not, go back and review the slides, especially the model diagram. And if you found this helpful, consider sharing the video. And let me know if you have any doubts in the comments. And subscribe to this channel for the upcoming theory lessons. Thank you.